Hey, welcome back, Yang Gang. Today we're taking a look at one of Andrew Yang's policy proposals, and that is term limits for congressmen, senators, and Supreme Court justices.
Lifetime appointments might have made sense at one point, but they make no sense now. The fact that we have to get worried if an 80-year-old justice has a health problem, I mean, that's no way to run a country. So term limits for Supreme Court justices, both parties should be able to agree on that.
So for Supreme Court justices, he's specifically proposing an 18-year term limit, and he points out that there is nothing in the Constitution that says that these need to be lifetime appointments. And having them be a lifetime appointment actually makes the entire system very unpredictable. You could have one political party take office and get 0 appointments as Supreme Court justice, but then you could have another party take office and get 2 or 3 appointments as Supreme Court, and those appointments could serve for 20 to 30 years. It's entirely by chance right now, and it's largely based off of the health of the individual Supreme Court justices. So much so that now health and age is a major indicator that they look for when they're picking their nominees for the Supreme Court. By having term limits on the justices, the whole system becomes far more predictable, and justices will be far more in line with the current values of America rather than what they were 20 to 30 years ago when they were first appointed. You also don't have to worry about the cognitive decline of justices, many of whom are now serving well into their 80s.
Now, term limits for Congress people, I like. If you're going to create term limits in Congress, you would want to make it a little bit longer in time, so at least there's some seniority that builds up. But I do think having people crouching in DC for decades is probably not good for our society.
For congressmen and senators, Yang is now proposing a 12-year term limit. Currently, the turnover rate for congressmen and senators is about 10%, and some years it's as low as 2%. If you compare this to the 1800s, where it wasn't uncommon to have a turnover rate of about 1/3 of the House and the Senate, by 2020, 13% of the House and 20% of the Senate would have served for over 20 years straight. So there is a lot of advantages of having senators and congressmen in there for several years straight, but there's a lot of disadvantage to having them in here for that long. The biggest disadvantage is that all these senators and congressmen have to fight for re-election every 24 months. So this disincentivizes them from making any major or controversial changes, and it incentivizes them not to do anything radical and not to make any big waves. When you combine this with the fact that the incumbent politician always has the advantage in an election, you get what we have right now, which is a House and a Senate that get nothing done. And this is why Andrew Yang proposes a 12-year term limit for congressmen and senators. They can come to DC, accomplish their goals, and then head home and allow for a new generation of congressmen and senators to come in with fresh and relevant ideas. If you want to see more of my videos about Andrew Yang's policies, I'll have an entire playlist of videos right over here. And of course, if you want to see more details about his specific policies, he's got over 150 of them outlined on his website, yang2020.com.